the Madman! Welcome to the custom Hearthstone cards of the week of August 11th. So we're still catching up from the past, but at this point the Boomsday cards had all been revealed. Let's start with the Tassimo Flaw. 1 mana, 2/1 weapon with Echo and Mega Wind Fury. You could play the Claw attack and then Claw attack, Claw attack, Claw attack. That means it's 4 mana, deal 8 damage with no drawback, in a world where Leroy Jenkins is being run to deal 6 damage with a drawback. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's not even close. From the design perspective, it's a little bit interesting to have a weapon with Echo on it, and the only way that would really work out is with Mega Wind Fury. But from a confusing perspective, I think that's relatively confusing because it's not immediately obvious that this weapon works this way. I also think that Wind Fury is a shaman mechanic. That all said, I'm going to say design 2 stars for bringing an interesting idea that maybe could be applied to something else or maybe worded somewhere else. And then the power is 1 star because it's off the charts powerful. Odd Rogue would run this every day and then win every game. It's not even 8 damage that just only goes to face, it can distribute damage. You could send 2 to a minion and then 2 to the face and then like 4 to another minion. Next up is the Price of Knowledge, a mage card, which for 1 mana draws a card and takes the damage equal to its cost with Echo. So Blizzard has wisely avoided printing a 1 mana Echo card for mage and priest because it would be really easy to abuse them with Sorcerer's Apprentice and Radiant Elemental. This is an example of such a dangerous card, because with 1 Sorcerer's Apprentice, you could literally draw out your entire deck for 0 mana. Now, obviously you would take a lot of damage. That's a major problem though if you have Violet Illusionist out. And you don't even have to have Violet Illusionist in your hand. You could draw into Violet Illusionist. So as early in Wild as turn 5, you would just play Sorcerer's Apprentice, Price of Knowledge, pick up like 5 cards, hopefully draw into Violet Illusionist, and then just Price of Knowledge for whatever you want in your deck. Even forgetting about the Violet Illusionist thing, just having the ability to draw 6 cards in an aggressive deck, and sure you can take a bunch of damage, but Tempo Mage usually doesn't even run high cost cards. That by itself is ridiculous. So the design I'm going to give a 1 star because surely by this time you would know how imbalanced and how crazy it would be to possibly have a 1 mana spell in Mage with Echo. Oh, also a slight flavor fail, because this is clearly a Warlock mechanic. And then the power level of the card, 1 star because it's absolutely ridiculous. Catcus, a druid 1 mana 0/2 with taunt. Whenever this minion takes damage from an attack, deal it back. So a kind of Thorns-like effect, which is reflected well from Warcraft, because Warcraft literally had thorns in it.
Feel nature's wrath.
I had originally thought about, is it ridiculous that I might want to dock a star from design because a Catcus is a ridiculous card, and like there's no way it would ever be a thing? But for Boomsday in particular, like it wouldn't be crazy to think of the druids and their biology projects coming up with a Catcus, and crazier things like bear sharks have happened. I'm going to give it a design pass for flavor, and the balance is pretty good. It'll sometimes or often kill the card that is attacking it, but not always. And it's a druid card, so it's okay for it to be a little bit stronger, because it's a druid card. No, because it's a class card. Anyways, I think that it's well designed and well flavored, so 5-star design, 5-star power. Bloomsayer, druid card, 2 mana, 0/7. At the start of your turn, gain a mana crystal, a appropriate card for our druid overlords, because this card is so powerful that I don't even know what to say. It's repeatable Wild Growth, where the opponent is not going to be able to deal with this on turn 2. And then if it survives a turn, you Wild Growth again for free. And if it survives like 1 more turn, you just Wild Growth casually 3 times. So I'm going to give it a design rating of 2 stars, just because I think that it could be interesting to have a mechanic in Druid where you do put a repeatable mana gain on a card, but that's about the only thing you can take away from this card. Far too dangerous at this low mana cost and at this high health, so I rate it 1 star. Next up, we've got Anchor Biter. 4 mana, 4/2 warrior card, pirate. After your weapon breaks, summon this from your hand. I actually think this is kind of cool. It is a cheated out of your hand for free thing, but Dread Corsair has existed, and Dread Corsair is a little bit similar to Anchor Biter in that when you have a strong weapon, you can just play the Dread Corsair for free. Anchor Biter is a little bit more restrictive in that you have to actually break your weapon, or your opponent can break it. That could work too. Given that I think that this is weaker than Dread Corsair, I think it could be buffed up to a 4 mana 4/3.
Hey.
Possibly even a 4 mana 4/4 actually. So design for it, I'm going to give it 5 stars. And balance on it, I'm giving it 4 star just because I feel like it's a tinge weak and could use 1 or 2 more stats. Omega Firefly. 3 mana mage card, 2/4 elemental. Battlecry, add a 1/2 flame elemental to your hand. If you have 10 mana crystals, add a 2/2 Pyros instead. I think that's really cool. The name probably could be made cooler, but yeah, nice little elemental effect. That's an appropriate power level, and it might be a reason to run Pyros because Omega Firefly has the flexibility of being played on 3, legitimately. Or you could save it until 10 against the control matchup. Design, 5 stars. Balance, 5 stars. Next up, we have Unexpected Infestation for Mage. 4 mana, deal 1 damage, draw 1 card, gain 1 armor, summon a 1/1 ghoul. Improved by spell damage. So this was kind of to mirror unexpected results. And I think this is a good way of showcasing another card that could play off of spell damage. Because spell damage, like, it's very one-dimensional, it just improves damage. I think cards that are improved by spell damage are a really cool idea. So at the 4 mana base level, this card's pretty bad, but it should be, right? With Celestial Emissary, you could play this on 6 mana to deal 3 damage, draw 3 cards, gain 3 armor, and summon a 3/3. And I think that's actually perfectly reasonable and fair, because you have to combine it with exactly Emissary. I feel like it's currently too slow for the deck that does run spell damage right now, which is Tempo Mage, because with Cosmic Anomaly, Unexpected Infestation, for 8 mana you're only dealing 3 damage. So it's too slow for that deck. But this pushes in an interesting direction, and I like how it showcases a remix of a very popular card. The name should be changed, it was just trying to mirror unexpected results, but it could be something like Unstable Infestation,
Hey.
or maybe even Designed Infestation, or Engineered Infestation. Because you're clearly planning it, it's not unexpected, right? So, design, 5 stars, balance, 5 stars. Next we have Mecho, a 1 mana 2/2 mech with Magnetic and Echo. Oh boy, that seems really powerful. It better be enough to stop it on the downside. Your mechs cost 1 more, and that's not enough. So, at the base level, it's a 1 mana 2/2 mech already, which is arguably already too strong. But it does make your mechs cost 1 more, which means you wouldn't want to play it in a mech deck, probably. So you just play it in a deck with no mechs, such as Oddrogue. Oddrogue would play this in their deck in a heartbeat, because you could play it as a 1 mana 2/2, or on turn 3, you could play it as a 1 mana 2/2 plus another 2/2, or you could play it as a 1 mana 4/4. And 10 mana you could get 8/8 worth of stats, so much flexibility on a card that's already really good at 1 mana for a 2/2. And then 3 mana for a 4/4, or 2 2/2s depending on the situation. Like, that's absolutely insane. It's not as insane as some of the other cards that have been featured this week, but it's still in the that's too good category. Design, I'm going to give it 2 stars because it's a little bit interesting to have a Magnetic Echo card, I suppose. Though there is a major flaw in the design that it's specifically a card that you want to play in exactly a deck with no mechs. But the problem with that is then you make it too powerful and then every deck without mechs just plays it, or it just, doesn't see play whatsoever. It seems like your mechs cost 1 more is almost insignificant, in other words. It could simply say Mecho costs 1 more, for example.
Hey.
The balance, I'm giving 1 star because it's far too powerful. Hatchling.exe. Custom Hearthstone continues their desire to use leet speak in words. I should dock a point from design for that, because no one wants to type in when they're searching for cards in their collection, H4, TCH. Anyways, 3 mana 2/2, Magnetic Battlecry Adapt with a mech. So Hatchling.exe is simply Pterodax Hatchling, except with Mech and Magnetic added on it. And they repainted the pink Hatchling Mech, which is kind of cool actually. I'm under the belief that sometimes remixes of currently existing cards in different ways is good. And I would normally have rated this at 3-star for design, but I don't feel like Adapt will ever be used again. It's an Ungoro specific thing. On the balance front, 5 stars. Paradox Hatchling was weak enough that this is fine. And Mechs were weak enough that it's okay to push Magnetic a bit more. Next up, it's Yash Raj, Mech version. 10 mana, 10/10 Mech. At the end of your turn, magnetize a random Mech from your deck onto this minion. We've seen a few ideas from Custom Hearthstone about this type of card. We've examined Terra Living City in an earlier video, as well as the Mothership, and Yash Raj is yet another huge 10 mana card, legendary, which magnetizes stuff from your deck. This one in particular is way too slow though, and other problem is, given that this is supposed to mirror Yash Raj, it of course has to cost 10, right? So it's pretty hard to actually get this effect to work. Design, I'll give it 2 stars. Balance, 1 star. Really, really weak, too slow, no one would ever play it. And finally, we end on Boomsday Technician. Tri-class card. 4 mana, 3/3, battle cry, discover a hunter, paladin, or warrior mech. So you might be thinking, oh man, Trump's gonna dock a point from design because tri-class cards, especially Grimy Goons, like that was done with Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. But you know what? This is a mechanic that I could see repeated, especially relevant in this set, where mechs are specifically hunter, paladin, and warrior. So yes, I believe that it might be okay to have tri-class cards in the future. So for that reason, I'm not going to dock any points for design for that. In fact, I think it's clever and a good insight that this card was made with the knowledge that pretty much hunter, paladin, and warrior mechs were it. So I'm going to give the design 4 stars. Balance-wise, it's weak right now. I think discovering a hunter, paladin, and warrior mech is roughly about the same as Curious Glimmerroot's pick a card from the opponent's deck. So I think 3 mana isn't too insane for it. So balance, I'm going to give 3 stars. That's your custom Hearthstone cards of the week, 3 weeks ago. Look forward to catching up to the custom Hearthstone cards of the week, of the actual week soon.